Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for the match review of the Coppa Italia quarterfinal match between Juventus and AC Milan that finished moments ago at the Juventus Stadium. The game finished 2-1 for Juventus with goals coming in from Dybala and Pjanic, while the goal scored by AC Milan was scored by Carlos Bacca. Once again, the same story repeats itself for Milan. 2 goals in the opening 20 minutes were conceded by them, and really it gave them a very big disadvantage at the Juventus Stadium, a ground in which you cannot afford to make such setbacks, and they've done so again this time around. Really, 2 goals which could have been avoided in my opinion. The first one was a mix-up by the defense as a collective unit. A cross coming in from Asamoah. The defense really didn't know what was going on. Dybala took the occasion and volleyed it, or scored from it, really from a few meters out, just to beat Donnarumma, who had no chance whatsoever to save that. The second goal was scored by a Pjanic free kick, once again originated from Asamoah. Unfortunately, for some reason, Milan wasn't capable of holding Asamoah well today, but he pretty much did contribute to both Juve goals there in that first half. Milan, they had the majority of the possession in that first half. However, they really didn't put it to good use. They weren't capable of even getting a shot on target in that first half. Once again, same story repeats itself for the second half. Much better attitude, much better mentality going forward. They got rewarded with a fine goal coming in from Carlos Bacca on the volley there. But other than that, it was just the main thing, once again, being the lack of concentration throughout the entirety of the match. The quality of Juventus being the better team altogether. And at the end of the day, I think putting those two things together pretty much speaks volumes for the final result at the end of the day. Besides that, individual performances, I wanted to highlight a few players in which really I wanted to speak about in specific. And the first of all, I'm going to start it off with the defense. 2 players that I really want to speak about are both Abate and Zapata today. Number 1, Abate. Today, I simply don't understand what he was doing in that first half. I think it was very poor marking on Asamoah each and every time Asamoah had the ball. He didn't pressure him. He let him cross freely. And at the end of the night, you pretty much saw the results and what Juventus was able to accomplish. I think we got lucky a number of times. That really Juventus didn't take advantage of those crosses, but at the end of the day, Abate needs to do better. He is the captain. The leadership from Abate needs to be better. I think Montella saw something that wasn't going right with Abate, and that is why he took him off in that second half. Same thing goes for Zapata. I'm sorry, but you cannot put a guy like him in this type of match. The guy hasn't played since April. It's about 9 months or something that the guy hasn't played in a competitive match. Why would you want to throw him into a match such as the match against Juventus in the Coppa Italia quarterfinals at the Juventus Stadium? It's not the type of match that I would personally throw a guy like Zapata in. I understand he needs playing time, and Montella wanted to award this guy playing time. But specifically, this is not the type of match that I would play Zapata in. He did do some good tackles, not going to get that wrong, but a lot of times he was out of position, wasn't strong enough, wasn't fast enough. Also, he had an opportunity in that second half. I wasn't expecting him to strike it first time. I wasn't expecting him to do anything great from that attempt that he had. But for him to get the ball taken away from Higuain, who had to come all the way back to his own penalty area, gather the ball, then chase him down throughout the entire Juventus half, and Higuain won a foul out of that and got Zapata booked. I think that pretty much sums up Zapata's night. You cannot allow things like that. You're an experienced defender. You're of age. You should know better than that. And simply, he didn't do a good enough job for me today. And that is why you probably won't be seeing Zapata for the rest of the season. Besides that, I want to speak about the midfield, specifically about Locatelli, because I know a lot of you are going to have mixed opinions on this, and I completely understand. I'm just here to give my opinion. You guys will have the opportunity to do that in just a few moments, either through the comments or on Skype call-in. But speaking about Locatelli, I understand the experience, the age factor, all these factors coming in and could play an emotional role in Locatelli. But I'm sorry, today's sending off was absolutely ridiculous from him. You cannot go in and make certain challenges like he did today. You got a poor yellow card in that first half. You were late in your challenge. You did exactly the same thing in the second half, knowing that you were one booking away from a sending off. You do it, you get it wrong, you got sent off again. This is simply unacceptable for me, you know. Specifically after Bacca gave you a lifeline to get back into the game, you know. He scored the goal, it was 2-1, and 2 minutes later, you get sent off for no absolute reason. To me, there seems to be a problem with that. I don't think this is respective of his full performance this season, because Locatelli did do a lot of good things this season, and I'm saying once again, the positives outweigh the negatives, that's for sure, but certain things need to be looked after, and I'm sorry, challenges like that, I'm never going to understand them. They're unexplainable, really, especially since you were already on the yellow card. I could understand you could get one tackle wrong and maybe you get a booking, but knowing that you're on the yellow card and you're making the same mistake again, to me, I just don't understand that at all. But besides that, it doesn't really matter now since we're out of the Coppa Italia. He's going to be suspended for the next time we play in the Coppa Italia next year. But I'm pretty sure that's not really a problem for now. What we need to focus is on the Serie A now that we're out of the Coppa Italia. Other players I wanted to speak about in that midfield, Kuchka did okay. Not the best of performances, but I guess it's okay. Bertolacci did do some good passes in the second half. I really liked that pass that he gave to Deulofeu where he was through on net. And speaking about Deulofeu, the substitute that came on with 10 minutes remaining in the second half, a lot of you guys that didn't have the chance are probably curious to know how he performed, if you guys didn't have the chance to see him. Well, he did quite well today. I think he did show very good things. Let's remember that he's been at Milanello for just 2 days. I think he was really responding. He did some good passes. He made good runs, some things that you wouldn't see from Niang. He had a good attempt on target. Unfortunately, he was in a bad angle and he couldn't do better. But other than that, it seemed very promising from Deulofeu, and I'm happy that he arrived. Hopefully, he could keep on this form. And maybe with even more playing time, he could do better things. But definitely a good addition from what I saw from Milan in those 10 minutes. Obviously, you cannot make a full discussion based on what he's supposed to show for the rest of the season in those 10 minutes. But I think, you know, definitely the positives were there today, and I think he did a very good task. Let's recall a few weeks ago, even last week, we had a guy called Niang that would come in for 10 minutes and would walk around the pitch. So I think this is definitely a significant upgrade over that. Who else did I want to speak about? Bacca got himself a goal. Once again, his third goal of the month. He did score some goals, but then again, his performances still, I'm not very happy with them. He's being very lazy at times, not running around the pitch. Deulofeu came on and the guy was running all over. That's the type of player that I want to see. Bacca does get the goals, but still very lazy to me. I think he needs to do better as a player in general. Suso did quite well. Many times he was unfortunately blocked by 2 or 3 players, and he had to find his way past these players. But other than that, he did okay. Nothing great. Bonaventura did well as also. Unfortunately, nothing great for him too, because he was definitely blocked from a lot of players from Juventus. Really didn't give them much space today. And I think we were all expecting that, because Juventus knows where the threat is coming from Milan. Besides that, that's pretty much it. If you guys want me to speak about any other player in particular, let me know in the comments section below. But it's time to read your comments and also to accept some calls on the Skype. Once again, the Skype username is Rossoneri TV altogether. So if you guys want to give your input on tonight's performance for Milan or the game in general, let me know, give me a call, and I'll be answering as soon as I get it. Once again, lots of calls usually come in from you guys, so it is on a first come first serve basis. So don't get disappointed if I don't answer your call. But let's get right into your comments. First of all, before I get into the calls, I want to know what you guys are thinking about tonight's game. Edel Figo says, won 2 trophies and destroyed Arsenal 4-0 in the UCL. Alright, Milan get Poli. You forgot how great he is. Moving on, RC205 says, can you imagine playing a 4-2-3-1, Delufeo and Suso, wide mids, Bonaventura in the middle, and Bacca as a striker? That could be actually a good solution. You know, I wouldn't count that option out, that's for sure. But that's definitely a good solution. Ruthwick says, Bacca looked pretty good today. He's one of those strikers who would convert those half chances. Unfortunately, to me, he didn't look that good. Yes, he got the goal, but besides the goal, what else did he do? Unfortunately, I don't see Bacca involved as he should be. That's the real truth. Yes, he gets the goals, but he needs to do better in performances. To me, there's much more than just scoring goals. I think he's never involved in the plays, to be honest. Obviously, we all have different opinions, but that's just the way I see Bacca. Mohammed says, 2 losses in a row. We will see the difference between Deschillo and our other left backs. And after seeing Delofeo runs, we can score more goals off counterattacks because he's fast. And unlike Niang, he has a brain. Completely agree with that. Zurich27 says, nice Milan in the second half. Sadly, we couldn't come back. Wish we started like that from the first half. Joga says, Pasalic touched the ball, or am I blind? I'm not quite sure. I saw Pasalic coming in, but yeah, I didn't see much from him once he came in. Sean Samuel says, we need to change formation. Everyone has figured us out. There's no unpredictability. Yes, can make a case for that. I mean, it's really the attitude that we walk in games. Once again, why do we always have to play such shit first halves and do way better second halves? It's always the same scenario for Milan game in and game out, so we have to fix that, that's for sure. Abdul thinks the same. He says, I know this was a cup game, but we need to change our game plan for the league now. Teams know how we play, and the 4-3-3 isn't enough anymore. Sven Simonsen likes the idea of the 4-2-3-1 with the squad. Needs a starter defender in first. And I think I'm going to take a break from the comments and get into some calls as we speak. The first call is going to come from Jeffrey. I know he's calling in, but let me just set that up for you right now as we speak. Alright. Yeah, Jeffrey, you're live.
How you doing today, Gio?
Not too bad. Honestly, the result was pretty disappointing. But at the end of the day, I think we could take some positives from it once again. One of them being that we're out of the Coppa Italia, meaning that we should just focus on the Serie A for now and not put more stress and more fatigue on our players. And the second positive is that, once again, we showed that attitude in the second half. Obviously, there's lots of negatives to take as well, but overall, you know, there's some things that I just can't really complain about. What do you think?
I have the exact same feelings with you. I think it's a blessing in disguise that we're out of the cup. Now we can focus on the league and get that 4th or 5th place, and whoever wins, we'll be grateful that we don't have to play these extra 5 games or however many it is.
Well, the way I think of it is that teams like Juve or Roma, Napoli, these guys are all going to be involved in Coppa Italia still. They're still going to be involved in Champions League, Europa League, whatever the case is. So they definitely have a lot more games in their schedules than we do now. So this could play definitely a good advantage to us. We're going to have less games, more time to think about, more time to work on these games, rather than being focused on 2-3 games per week. So it's definitely an advantage. But getting back to today's game, Jeffrey, I feel like it's always a replay of what we always speak about every week, and that is the bad mentality of this team in the first half. and a good mentality in the second half. Still the same old story with Milan. I think we've seen it all month long, really, in January this year. What do you think?
I gotta agree with you again.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting to the point of ridiculousness that we can't play at all in the first half. We're asleep. And then in the second half, we wake up, we're like, oh, we've already played half the game. We got to pick up the pace.
Mm-hmm. I just don't get it. I honestly have a lot of trouble understanding why we always have this problem in that first half. Why? What? Like, how can you not fix such a problem after not one, not two, not three, not four games in a row now? It's like almost every game you have the same tendency and they still can't fix it. Like, do they even speak about it during the week? I don't know.
I don't know either. To me, it's more about the whole team, including the coaching staff, that they're not on the same page. Like the coaching staff doesn't either watch video of our opponents, and our team isn't prepared to play it like that. So we need to get someone in there that knows how to prepare for the next game.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and still, I don't know why the same problem reoccurs. Um, we'll see what happens this weekend against Udinese. Hopefully, the same story won't repeat itself. But once again, it sucks because in the second half, we always seem to be the dominant team, the team that's on top of the other. I think we did a very good second half, also despite being one man down. Yes, Juventus had their chances, but I think we played way better in that second half than the first half once again. And yeah, same thing each week. I don't know why, but it keeps repeating itself.
Yeah, I have one last comment before I go.
Go
I
for
think
it.
we should definitely try Lapadula as our striker and try De La Filio on the left hand side.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely an idea. What did you make of Delufil, by the way, today?
Well, I only got to watch a little part of the second half because I'm at work.
Okay.
But what I saw of him was exactly what we needed: a fast winger, a guy who can has the brain, and he's not the best finisher, but he's better than Niang in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the chance that he was in a bad angle, so I could give it to that. But just his work ethic today, his pressuring was very good as well. I think at one point he was playing as a striker, so I like that. I think he did very well for the 10 minutes that he played. Hopefully, we'll be seeing more of him very soon.
All right.
All right, Jeffrey, thank you for calling in, man. You have yourself a good day.
You too.
All right, take care.
You too.
So you heard it there from Jeffrey once again. Continuous mistakes, especially in the first half, all the time. We are not there. Our mentality is not there. I don't know what it is, but if we only have to play 45 minutes every game, and this is not only a problem of this year, guys. This is also a problem that we've been seeing for seasons, over and over again, all the time. It's either they play 50 minutes, 60 minutes, they'll never play 90 minutes of full dominance and full determination. But we do have another call, this time coming in from Roberto. Let's see what he has to say. Hi, Roberto, how are you?
I'm fine.
So Juventus did win it finally after 2 times of losing this season. They finally won it in their home ground. What did you make of the game in general? We did speak at halftime. Juventus was all over Milan, but I think Milan did a lot better in that second half. What do you think?
Yeah, in the second half they played much better, and towards the end I was tensing so much. I thought Milan were going to get an equaliser, but if it weren't for Locatelli, then I think Milan might have got an equaliser. But yeah, it was really tense.
What did you make of that Locatelli sending off? Like, you probably heard my opinion on it. I think it was pretty embarrassing what he did. I mean, you honestly don't have to play that hard to especially when you're on the booking already. It was a necessary challenge, in my opinion. What did you think?
I just I just thought it was a really silly challenge from Locatelli. It was stupid, and as the commentator said on the TV when I was watching the game, it was stupid, and he deserved to get sent off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about it. Definitely, I hope he improves his emotions. Maybe it was his emotions. I don't know what it was, but yeah, he definitely needs to improve on that aspect. That's for sure. Any other comment you want him to make on this game?
Yeah, and also Asamoah really surprised me. He
Yeah.
really surprised me. He was really good.
I remember you speaking to me before the game, and you were a bit worried about him, actually. You didn't think he was going to perform well, but I think he contributed to both of your goals today.
Yeah, and Donnarumma came out loads. He came out into the halfway, and it was quite funny to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. All right, Roberto, thank you for calling in.
Anyway, yeah, thanks.
All right. Now we are getting another call from Pasquale, so I'm gonna answer his call as we speak. I'm actually gonna give him a call because I know he was trying to call me. Let's see what Pasquale has to say regarding Milan's performance. Hey Pasquale, you're live.
Oh, hello Gio, how are you?
Not too bad, yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. A bit disappointed about the result, but I think it was after the first half performance, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean the second half was a lot better. Once again,
It was
a lot
definitely
better. And do you think Milan could have got that equalizer if we stayed with 11 men?
Definitely. I think as soon as Locatelli was sent off, it changed the entire structure for Milan big time. That's when Montella started looking to his bench and making massive changes to the way that Milan played. You saw they were going hell for leather and looking to push forward a lot more because they were a man down. They just had to. They had no other option but to play extremely aggressive.
I think they were playing with a 4-4-1 at one point, if I'm not mistaken. It seemed like Kuchka was playing as a right back, and Bonaventura, Suso being the wide midfielders. And in the middle, they had, who was it, Pasalic and Bertolacci. What do you think about that module? I mean, technically, you could have played a 4-4-2 if we had 11 men on the pitch. And I think we haven't seen many times 4-man midfielder this season. Do you think this could be a solution?
Well, I don't know about a solution. I think for having 10 men on the field, it was definitely a good solution because he didn't want to concede another goal and sort of put the result beyond doubt. I think making the changes Montella did kept Milan in the game. It was good management there, I thought.
Yeah, I think it definitely fortified that midfield. It made it stronger, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but
normally we would play with the three men in midfield, and actually you make a good point. I don't know about it being like a good permanent solution, but it definitely did the job for having the extra man. That's for sure. It just sort of narrowed the midfield a fair bit and made it a little bit more difficult for Juve to get through, and it also enabled Milan to create more useful possession.
Definitely.
Which was good to see.
And we spoke a lot about that before, but what do you think about this module that many people are suggesting, a 4-2-3-1, with Bonaventura probably playing as a trequartista, I'm guessing, and Suso, Deulofeu on his sides, Bacca up front. What do you think about this?
It's interesting. I actually don't mind the idea. I almost go to say that I like the idea. It's going to be interesting though how it's going to work with Deulofeu and Bonaventura because Bona has been playing so well on the left, and Deulofeu is only new to the club. How they're going, like what the dynamic is going to be there with Deulofeu coming in, and like is he going to come on as a sub? Is he going to be a starter? Like, he came on as a sub in this game, sure, but he's only new to the club.
Yeah.
Moving forward, what's Montella's mindset? Does he see Deulofeu as a starter? Does he see him as the sub? Who knows? Only time will tell.
Yeah, we're definitely we're definitely gonna have to see what Montella thinks about all of this. I spoke about it for a few videos now, and a lot of people still ask me the same question. Where will Deulofeu play? Will he be playing on the left, on the right? Will Bonaventura be shifted back to the midfield? Really, it all depends on what Montella thinks. But what's good about it is that I think he has a lot of options going forward in terms of formation and what he wants to do. Because it's not only you can play a 4-3-3 here, you can switch things around. I think definitely Deulofeu is a player that is versatile and you can play in different roles. So this is.
I think Montella.
Yeah,
it's a good thing that when you look at the system that Montella has, it's more towards a total football system. So when someone gets sent off or he needs to make a tactical change, the good thing is the way that the system is set up, he can drag a player from somewhere else to fill in that role pretty easily. For example, Kuchka filling in at right back today was a perfect example. He was just another it's very versatile. People can change and move very quickly.
That's right.
The other point I was going to make was don't look too much into the Deulofeu at striker today. I don't think that's going to be something substantial moving forward.
Yeah.
I think that was just a sub purely to create some speed up front later in the game. So
Same
don't
here.
look into that too much.
Yeah, I think the same. I think exactly the same. We won't it's good that you can also play in that position, but I wouldn't, really. I will consider it, but what I'm trying to say is that I wouldn't really expect it to be played in that position when you have guys like either Bacca or Lapadula being available to you.
Correct.
But yeah, like
Correct.
you said, to add speed, I think it could definitely be a good option. Definitely.
And he certainly showed it, didn't he? He was able to cut through. I think it was Cuadrado. He was able to run past him.
Yep.
And Cuadrado is not slow, as we know. He's very quick.
Yeah, definitely.
And for him to be able to cut in behind and create that chance, he almost scored too. If he'd have just blasted it, I'd say it would have been a goal and we'd have been into extra time. But look, it's his first game, so he's got a lot of promise, that's for sure.
And what a story it would have been if he got that equalizer.
Oh, I was on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
I was so close.
Yeah.
It's had me on my edge of the seat the whole game. It was good,
definitely.
It was.
All right, Pasquale, thank you for calling in and giving your input as usual. It's always appreciated.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, take care, Pasquale.
Cheers, Gio.
So you heard it there from him. If you guys still want to call in on Skype, the name is Rossoneri TV. I will be taking a few more calls from you guys if you're interested in giving your input. I see a lot of people are giving me requests on Skype, so I will be accepting some of you guys. Unfortunately, I get so many each time that I'm not capable of answering everyone. But getting back to some of your comments, a lot of you guys are still speaking between yourselves, considering Milan's chances or even past history and what really could come forward for this Milan team. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of discussion currently going on there. Also, I wanted to know from you guys, what do you think about Milan now being eliminated from the Coppa Italia? Do you see us getting a real chance to make Europe this season, or do you think it's still something that Milan is going to have trouble in? Let's not forget that we do have a game in hand, and we will be recuperating that game in February against Bologna, so we definitely need to get a win there. But you guys still think that we're capable of at least making the Europa League, or will Milan miss out on Europe as a whole again this season? Let me know in the comments section below. Milan Ultra says, is Luca going to be absent because he got a red in the Coppa Italia? No, that has no effect whatsoever on the Serie A. Dan Maldini says, this is Milan's level right now. We are not able to beat top 5 Serie A teams. When Bacca plays, it's like we play with 10 men on the field. 4-3-3 is not the formation with no playmaker. What did I think of Honda? Honda came on for 2 minutes, and I think he probably saw the ball once, so I can't really say anything about him. Farrell says, do you agree that Milan died after the 2011-2012 season? You know, I think every team has their slumps and there are highs and lows. Definitely, it did play a part after that season when we sold Thiago Silva and Ibrahimovic, which, by the way, was the whole... for you guys that don't even know about this, about Rossoneri TV, that was the whole thing that started this channel. After Thiago Silva and Ibrahimovic got sold. That's when I really started speaking about Milan in general terms. But yeah, definitely it hasn't been the same since all our veterans and those key players left our team. RC205 says, I think if we qualify, they will backfire and won't qualify for Europe like last season. Do you mean about the Coppa Italia if we didn't go through the next stage? Is that what you mean? Or if we qualify for the Europa League at the end of the season? Janks says the table is tight. I think a 5th place position is doable, but only Montella needs to get some new tactics going on. We have a chance, says Van Simonson. He says it's us, Inter, and Lazio for 4th and 5th. I completely agree. Jeffrey says Europa League is a definite this year. I definitely hope so. And yes, I do believe Gustavo Gomez was available to the team selection today. I can make sure for you. Yes, he was. He was on the bench, so he was available. Just that Montella didn't decide to pick him today. Alex Acosta says Milan will finish in 6th place. My prediction at the beginning of the season was a 5th place finish. But we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully we get it. I just hope that we make it to the Europa League. Honestly, like many people were asking me, will Milan be capable of qualifying to the Champions League? I think we pretty much all know the answer at the moment. Obviously, it's still possible. I'm not saying anything, but there are teams with way better quality that deserve it way more than us this season. So I'm not going to really complain about that. But what I do think Milan needs to do is get back into Europe at all costs this season. Get back into the Europa League. Invest in the summer. And have something to play for next year, you know, because I don't want to see this team just playing in Italy again. I think the Europa League will be a pretty good transition for Milan going into next season, because it will give us, you know, some playing time in Europe, some competition, rather than just playing in Italy all the time. At the same time, this doesn't mean that we don't need to make investments. Many investments need to be made this summer, for sure, if we want to get anywhere. And this includes even if we do make it to the Europa League, we need investments, because there's good teams in there and they will beat us up. I'm not kidding. A few more questions for you guys before I sign off. Ed Alfigo says, Gio, I think that Milan fans are the most lunatic fans in the world. 5 games ago, before we played against Atalanta, Juve, Napoli, and Torino, people were talking about us finishing 2nd, and I do remember that. I definitely remember that. I even said it myself. I think it's too early to speak about that. I said it back in December, and you guys pretty much saw the results this time around. Maybe 1 or 2 more questions. Cesar85 says, so now that Milan does not have to worry about the Coppa, the rest should not be an issue as much. Milan Ultra says, I'm afraid if we get Champions League, we will get beaten badly, so this year just get Europa League. Personally, I don't think we're going to be making Champions League. I think Europa League is very doable. Champions League, not really at the moment. Barum Badoom says the goal of Pjanic was fault of Donnarumma too. Don't forget this. He is confused by the voices of Mercato. To be honest with you, that was a very precise shot on that free kick. Maybe Donnarumma could have got a hand to it, but to be honest, that was very precise from Pjanic. The goal of Pjanic, instead, the people that I would fault on that goal is the 3 people that were on Asamoah and they weren't capable of getting the ball. That's the people that I fault on that goal, because honestly, it was ridiculous having a left back making runs like that, causing trouble, getting free kicks, and getting goals for his team, pretty much. Finally, Youssef says, at the beginning of the season, after the Napoli game, we started stepping up our game. Let's hope for a better run now and stay between 4th and 5th place until the end. Definitely hope that's the case. I think we could do that. I don't think there should be a problem. But that's going to wrap it up, guys, for today's match review of the Coppa Italia quarterfinal match between Juventus and Milan, played at the Juventus Stadium. Final score is 2-1 for Juventus. Goal scored by Dybala and Pjanic. For Juve, goal scored by Milan was scored by Bacca. And tomorrow, there will be another video, of course, as usual. We do post daily videos for you guys to keep you updated with the latest news and so forth. Tomorrow's video will be exclusively on Niang and his move towards Watford. I'll be speaking all about that tomorrow, considering also the options that could come towards Milan, the players that could come at Milan, because Milan are going to want to get a replacement for Niang. So we'll see what happens with all of that. I'll be speaking to you all about it tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything going on at AC Milan on a daily basis. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. This has been Gio signing off, and as always, Forza Milan.